Hello, my name is Dr. Blessy Mathiklum, and I'm a pediatrician that works with the City of Philadelphia. I'm here today to talk to you about handling the stress and anxiety of dealing with your children during the coronavirus. During this time of quarantine and with the spread of the coronavirus, many of our families are having a lot of stress and anxiety. This can affect everyone in the family, especially the children. The impact can be physical, emotional, and financial. As in this time, many people can't go to work and help to support themselves. The children handle this stress in many different ways, and it depends on the child's age, previous experiences that the child has had in dealing with death or illness, and how the child copes with stress. Each child copes with stress in a different way, and each child has a different amount of resilience and how they deal with problems and trouble situations. Most important, it is to remember that if the adults are calm and supportive to the children, most likely the children will feel that and remain calm also. During this time, it's very important to remember that many people we're all quarantined and we have to stay home, and different difficult situations and difficult relationships we have with other people in our families may be brought out and aggravated. So it's very important to talk to the children about this, and everyone try to be as patient and calm with each other as possible. Normal responses to the stress in children can be inattention, fear, lack of enjoyment. They may stop enjoying things that they used to do before, anxiety, depression, avoidance, disruptive and hypervigilance. Especially children of parents who are healthcare workers, they can feel more hypervigilant and stressed for their parents. So it's very important to talk to them about things that you're doing at work to keep yourself safe and things that you can do to keep the children safe. There can be sleep disturbance with fear of sleeping alone, and then trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. Different children react to stress in different ways, and their behaviors can change accordingly. Infants to 2-year-olds, they can be a little bit more crankier, and they may want to spend more time with their parents or caregivers, and they want to be held and cuddled. So it's very important to be a little bit more patient with them, set aside more time with them so they feel safe. For 3 to 6-year-olds, they can regress and go back to behaviors that they were doing previously that they had stopped doing, such as toilet accidents and bedwetting. They can have more temper tantrums, and they may have trouble sleeping. So also be more patient with them, and as they get used to the new stresses, this will resolve over time. For 7 to 10-year-olds, they may feel mad or sad. And then once this pandemic is over, they may be afraid that this will happen again. They also are talking to a lot of their friends, and they can get some misinformation. So it's very important to talk to them about things that they've learned and give them true and honest information. They may also have trouble concentrating. It's very important in these age groups, if children are acting out, having temper tantrums, to be more patient with them. And please refrain from physical punishment, as this will aggravate the situation. Preteens and teens, they may respond by acting out. This includes reckless driving, may begin start of alcohol and drug use. They may feel overwhelmed with their emotions and unable to talk. And especially since everyone is isolated, they can have more arguments with their parents and siblings. So it's important to have more conversations with them. For children with special needs, they can have stronger reactions because they have less control over their day-to-day well-being. This is true for with physical, emotional, and intellectual limitations. They may need extra words of reassurance, more explanations, and extra comfort, like hugs and spending time with their parents. Some general guidelines on how to deal with the children. So there's so much information out there. So it's very important that the children are getting accurate information and not too much information. It's important to limit how much information they're getting. Maybe to once a day, you can watch the news together. Watch it together and then discuss with them after what the children understood and what they can and what questions they have, and try to deal with it that way. Reassure the children that they can talk to you at any time. You're there to answer their questions. Try to avoid any criticism mockery, or annoyance with the children for their questions and emotions. Everyone deals with problems in different ways. Answer questions truthfully. It's not okay to tell lies and give false information, but it is okay to not know. And you can tell them that you'll look up information and then get back to them. As much as possible, try to have a normal routine. Whatever you used to do before, try to do similar things. If you used to have dinner together, try to continue to do that now. If you used to say evening prayers together, try to do that also. Be supportive and patient. Give the children time to adapt. Every day there's new information, and it's more and more stressful for the children. Allow the children to talk about their worries and feelings if they want. You can't force them to talk to you, but if they want to talk to you, let them know that you're open for that. Don't lie or speculate about any information. Give them honest answers and look up at reliable sources for information. Have the children talk to their friends and other family on phone or FaceTime. It's important for children to keep that social connection and talk to other people also outside of the home. Some specific guidelines based on age. So preschool and early elementary schools, kids, discuss with them the virus in plain terms. Just be basic information. They don't need to know a lot of information. Too much may be overwhelming for them. Reassure them that the doctors and scientists are working on vaccines and medicines to help deal with the virus. Kids can help by washing their hands and covering their coughs and sneezes. Upper elementary school children are more vocal with their questions. It's important to let them know that this virus is no one's fault. Allow them to cry or express anger and sadness. Have the kids help with cleaning up, wiping surfaces, which is the spread of the virus, and extra chores around the house. Middle school students and high school students, they need a lot of more information, and they're able to handle that. Provide them with websites for information. Discuss the information together. Give them reliable websites and provide them space to discuss the information together. Tell them it's okay to be afraid or angry. They may act out, give them a little bit space, but definitely set limits to their behaviors. Give them freedom to talk to you without any judgment, and let them help you with making family decisions and planning what to do. There's other sources for information. If you have more questions, please contact your pediatrician. The websites that have a lot of information on dealing with stress and the pandemic with children is the American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC, the National Association of School Psychologists. If you have any questions for me, please send them to Vinod, or you can send them on the link down below. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful for you. Please let us remember to be prayerful at this time and trust in the Lord to protect and guide us. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful for you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Bindu Mediklam, and I'm a licensed psychologist in Pennsylvania. I hope everyone is staying safe and doing well. We know that these are challenging and painful times for everyone, and so we are providing you with a series of videos to help manage the variety of stressors that you might be experiencing. Today, I'm going to discuss with you specific ways that adults can manage stressors within the family during this unique time of crisis. This is a difficult period of time for everyone, and especially the adults and parents. Parents are juggling a lot more, whether it be working from home full-time, the concerns of working within the healthcare industry right now, losing a job and financial worries and constraints, full-time childcare, managing homeschooling and education, taking care of elderly and sick parents, and ongoing relationship strain and distress that might have pre-existed prior to all this, and any other daily household responsibilities that you're managing. That is a lot for anyone to manage all at once, let alone during this time of pandemic, which can bring about uncertainty and fear. So you have to keep in perspective that you're doing a lot more and expected to do a lot more without the available resources to help you meet those demands. So it's expected that you might make mistakes and things might not go well, because this is not a normal or perfect time. So for example, usually if you are able to successfully accomplish 5 things on your to-do list, during this time, you might just have been able to accomplish 1 or 2 things, and that's okay. And you have to remind yourself of that. Some of you, especially those with younger children, might feel like you barely got anything done except keeping your kids alive and fed. And that is a huge accomplishment and okay. We can't get hung up over the things that we did not do, because that can only bring us down and prevent us from moving forward. Remember that we have tomorrow and we can reevaluate and regroup. This is a huge adjustment for everyone. And just like any adjustment in our lives, there's a learning curve, and we're all trying to figure it out to the best of our abilities. It's also very important to take breaks. Try to incorporate something that brings you pleasure throughout the day so you can regroup and feel re-energized. You're going to hear this a lot, and I can't emphasize this enough because it's so important. We can't take care of others when we ourselves are exhausted. When we're stressed, we're more likely to be irritable, restless, unproductive, and have difficulty concentrating. And if we don't incorporate some joy in our lives, it's going to lead to burnout and exhaustion, which can lead to other problems down the line. So this does not have to be activities that are incredibly long. It can be 5 to 10 minutes throughout the day or longer if you have it and you have that time. But once again, remember that there's no right way to engage in self-care. It's individual to you, it's ongoing, and it's meant not to be more of another stressor or strain in your life. As one of my colleagues said, as she was discussing this time in our lives, we should treat it as a marathon and not a sprint. And remember that you have to pace yourself and slow down, and we'll get there. Also remember to readjust your perception of space. Many families are spending much more time together, more than we've ever had to. And they say you really get to know someone when you live with them, but this is taking it to another level. Families and young couples need to balance being together with some alone time. And this is going to look different for each family. But being with someone all day long without any breaks is not the best idea. It is perfectly fine and appropriate to have separate spaces, safe spaces if need be, or separate activities that people can engage in throughout the day. But you also, when appropriate, want to find times to come together and do activities together. Remember that everyone needs their own space. You also might learn during this time that there are things about your partner, your parent, or your child that you might not like or you don't find so attractive. And just like I mentioned before, you have to put this in perspective. This is not the time to force someone to change, force someone to talk, or make major changes. But you do want to reflect, put things in perspective, and within some sort of context and framework, so you can come back to it as necessary. Additionally, you want to remind yourself that everyone has a different way of coping with stress, and your way might not always be the right way. We have to understand that our parents, children, and spouses may manage things differently, and that looks differently from how we would do things. And we have to be open to those differences. But it is important to remember to keep lines of communication open, clear, and ongoing. If you lost your temper or got distracted with your child, acknowledge that it happened. Acknowledge what you might be feeling, that you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and apologize for it and move forward. Within families and relationships, it's better to be clear and provide explanations so there are no miscommunications or misunderstandings that can fester and can be more problematic down the line. Remember that we're always trying to model healthy ways of communicating and engaging with one another. You are allowed as an adult to have a temporary meltdown because this is a stressful time, but please be gentle with yourself if you do. Learn from it and just try to do better the next time around. Further, I think this is very important for parents to understand that our youth and young adult are also going through changes, transitions, and grieving things as well. SATs that they might have studied for months, graduations, school dances, and other events that mean a lot to our youth have been canceled. These are huge losses for our youth and young adult. Please do not dismiss these feelings because these are major events and experiences. So make sure you take time and be gentle with your children and understanding of them. Adolescence and young adulthood is a very important time period to form and create relationships. So understand their need to connect with their friends and maintain that sense of communication and connection. So this might mean that you are more lenient, open, and understanding regarding social media and phone usage. And remember for yourself the basics of sleep, exercise, and good nutrition. This is a time of uncertainty and a lack of control, but you do want to keep in mind things that you have some control over, and specifically a routine and maintaining a routine and a wellness routine is something that you can have some sort of control and responsibility over. And finally, someone told me that we're actually physical distancing and not social distancing. So remember to stay connected. There's that famous saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and we all need to come together to get through this. It can't fall on one parent or one adult. Kids, help your parents out, take on some more responsibilities at home. Partners and spouses, step up to the plate and be supportive of one another. We all have to be as collaborative and flexible as possible to get through this. Remind yourself and your family that you will get through this. Whether you say it out loud to them or say it to yourself, you have to hold on to that faith and you have to remind yourself about that. If you need anything, please reach out to Achin. We are here to help and you are not alone. And that is the beauty of our community. And that's something certain that you can hold on to during this time. One last thing that I will tell you is that we are giving you challenges that we will hope that you can work on throughout your time during this quarantine. And so my challenge for you is as follows. Our mom and dad used to always love telling us stories about when they were younger or when how they first met. And these are stories that my sister and I and my nephews and my niece really have held on to and we have really cherished. So please try to share stories, pictures, memorable events with your children. And this doesn't have to be solely the parents' responsibility, but children, take some time and share memorable events and moments with your parents as well. You can really use this time to reflect on the past, but learn something more about your loved ones and create new memories in the process. Once again, please let us know if there are any questions, if there are anything that I can answer, please let Vinod know. We are here to answer anything. Thanks for listening, and I hope you all stay well, and I hope that this was helpful to you. Thank you.